It's the funnest modern cars in GTA Online, and it starts now. Yes, before you jump down my throat, I know funnest is not correct grammar. I don't care. That's fun. It's the funnest way to label this video, and that's what we're going to call this entire series. We have the funnest cars in GTA Online, starting with the Benefactor Schlagen, and this is a great example of just a fun car in the game. You have such a fast straight line car that's exactly like an AMG Mercedes, built exactly like it should be, and listen to the exhaust on this thing. It just sounds so amazing. I love it. Now the car is fast in a straight line. You're not going to win many races with it, but it has so much personality. It's so much like a real life AMG Mercedes that it has to have a spot on this top 10 list. This list can't really go on without the Bravado Gauntlet Hellfire. The Hellfire might be the most fun car in the game for 90% of the GTA Online community. You see them everywhere. They're great cars. They make an amazing noise. They're a lot of fun to drive in a straight line, but you might be surprised that it's actually not that fast on the quarter mile, which is a little disappointing, but you can hear the supercharger whine. You can hear just an awesome exhaust tone. The engine sounds amazing, and the car is so much fun to drive. You put it on the right track, you can have a blast, and it's a really good free roam car too. So can't really go wrong with the Bravado Gauntlet Hellfire if you're looking for something to drive. It's not too expensive. It's one of the must-have cars in the game. Our first supercar on this list, it's not the Emerus or the Krieger, it's the S80RR. This is such a great car, and I think it gets overlooked a lot. Look at the cockpit. Look at how unique it is. GTA doesn't make cars this unique very often. That's why it's here. And it's got so much grip. I mean, look, it actually sucks itself into the track. Literally, into the track. What cars do you know can do that? I mean, come on. But seriously, this thing just is a blast to drive. It's got so much grip. It's a lot like an open wheeler. It's kind of strange. It feels a lot like an open wheeler, just doesn't have a whole lot of power. But if you're on a technical track like my test circuit, this is actually just slower than the Krieger and the Emerus. So if you find the right track, you're racing the right people, you might be able to pull some surprises off with a race win with the S80RR. And it just looks so good. This one's modeled after an R89C rather than the R90. I just like it because it's a little different, but it's a great supercar, and if you can swing it, you should get one. This is my favorite car in the game, and just listen to this thing. It sounds so incredible. I'm going to pause here for a second. I don't know how you could not love that. It sounds great. It's got 4 doors so you can carry a bunch of friends along with you, and it's fast. It's actually really quick. It's one of the best sports cars in the game. You have some really good sports cars in the game for racing, so you might not win a whole lot of races, but for getting around the map and just having fun in general, this car is absolutely incredible, and I would not have a GTA playthrough without this car. It's on sale right now on Prime. You have no excuse not to get it. If I could only have one garage, this would be in it. Speaking of 4 doors, we've got an SUV, a fun SUV. That's right, the Pegassi Toros. It's based off of a Lamborghini Urus, and it's a great car. It's got tons of personality. It feels heavy. It doesn't break for much, and its handling is a little strange. It feels heavy, but that's part of why I like it. It's exactly how it should be. It's built for one thing, and that's speed. When you get going in a straight line, this thing is really fast. On my test track for top speed, my speedway, it's the fastest car I've tested, and I'm testing that over and over to make sure that it's correct, and I keep getting the fastest time with it. So very fast car and a lot of fun if you want an SUV. So SUVs might be your thing, but you don't want a fast SUV. You want to go off-road. The Camacho is insane. It will go up literally anything. Find a mountain, make your way up the mountain. It is that good off-road, and it looks great too. It's got a lot of really good customization. This thing, you'll see in the video, it basically climbs at, I don't know what degree that would be, but anything but a building you can pretty much get up in if you're in a Camacho. and it looks really good. This is a really nice way to get some alone time in GTA Online, get away from some of the craziness, just go play around for a little bit. And because it's been around for such a long time, by GTA standards, it's really cheap. So this is another car that if you like it, you should go get it because it is just that good. This might be my favorite car in all of GTA Online, and you might think that I've absolutely lost it, but I love the Locust, and people hate it because it's hard to drive. That's why I think it's amazing. It's got a ton of personality, and it's so hard to turn a 100% lap in this thing that when you do get it and you nail that lap, it feels so good. You're gonna lose every race you enter with it, but to learn how to drive and to learn how to race in GTA Online, it's hard to do better than this, and I just take it out on tracks regularly to get some drive time. I love this car. It's another car that probably would be in my garage if I could only have one in GTA. But we'll move on to a supercar that's actually really good at racing. So the Progen Emerus makes this list. The Krieger doesn't. And the Krieger is actually just as fast as the Emerus, down to the 1,000th of a second at my test track. But the Emerus just has so much more personality. It's so much more fun to drive. It has a little bit of rotation in the corners. The rear end likes to slide just a little bit of oversteer. But that's perfect for my style of driving. If you really want something that sticks to the road, go for the Krieger. But I do think that that little bit of extra rotation that you get when you're driving one of these is an advantage when you're racing. So once you get used to the handling in the Emerus, I think that it is the best racing car in the game. It's a great looking car. I love the see-through doors. You also get a faster quarter-mile time in the Emerus than you would in the Krieger. Taking a look at this engine model, what would you guess it is? Whoa, probably not that, right? This is the Pfister Neon, and it is another one of my favorite cars in the game. You might think I'm crazy, but it's actually the fastest car I've tested around the test track in the sports class. Faster than the Italy RSX, the Italy GTO, all of the fastest sports cars. The trick is, it's got, I don't know, the best way I can describe it is a crazy amount of turbo lag. It's so hard to get a 100% lap time in this car. It might even be harder than the Locust to drive, but when you do, it's really fast, and it is such a good looking car. I love the customization options. It looks amazing, and it's a little unique. Not a lot of people have them, so if you drive it around in free mode, it's a lot of fun. To our final top 10 car, the Issi Sport. Yeah, it's a little compact car. It's based off of a mini rally car, and you can just throw this thing around corners. It has so much grip. Brakes are apparently pretty good too. It's got a sub 58 second time on my test track, which is nuts. It's in supercar territory for sure. You can see just the levels, well, ignore that. The levels of grip that it has are pretty impressive. It looks really good on the street too. The customization is really nice on this car. You can dress it up as a rally car, make it look like a street car, have some fun racing with it. And as long as you put a spoiler on it, it's nearly impossible to crash. In the first outside the box segment, we have a couple cars that just barely didn't make the cut, starting with the Pegassi Tesseract. Again, you might think I'm crazy, but it's a lot of fun. It doesn't do much very well, but it has a ton of mid-range power, and that's just so unique that it can be a lot of fun to drive around. I wouldn't race it, but it is fun if you've got the extra money and it looks good. It was really hard to keep the Neon outside of the top 10. I love this car, and the acceleration is just unbelievable. Look at that quarter-mile time. If you haven't already, go check out my top 10 quarter-mile cars in the game. You might be surprised where the Neon lands. The Drift Yosemite. Now this is on the list of the modern cars because you didn't have drift cars back in the day, but it is one of the few cars that you can actually drift pretty well in the game, and it looks the part too. This is the Coquette D10. A really good sports car. It's got a really good top speed, top 10 in the game. It looks great, good customization options, and just a lot of fun. And it's fast enough that it'll get you where you're going pretty quickly. And the Dominator GTX. This car is really fast on a technical circuit. It's the fastest muscle car around my test track, and it just sticks. It's faster than the Yosemite, the Clique, all the usual suspects, and it's a really fun car in free mode. There's the list, the funnest modern cars in GTA Online. There are so many fun cars in this game, and I have 2 more videos. This is just the first part of a series that are coming. We're going to take a look at classics and retro cars, so make sure you stay tuned to the channel. Subscribe on the bottom there to make sure that you don't miss out on those videos. And I also want to take a quick second to thank my subscribers and everybody that's been watching these videos. My DLC speculation video is over 500 views now, which is absolutely insane, and it couldn't happen without you. So thank you so much, and I hope to see you again soon.